Hey, so this is going to be a quick little introductory video to the channel. It's the first video of the channel, so um, I don't really know a whole lot about aviation. I'm not that great at plane spotting. I don't know the differences between them, but I enjoy Flight Simulator. I have a couple of flying hours in a Robin 2160 as well. Yeah, so I just wanted to do a short little introductory flight. I'm going to do it from, I live in Vancouver here, so we're going to fly out of Vancouver over to Victoria. It's a small little airport on the Vancouver Island, like just off the coast of Canada. So we're just popping in here, Vancouver. Oh, I don't have it yet. There we are, YVR, Vancouver International. Yep, there we go. So we've set that up. I'm going to take off from the runway. There is an option to depart from the gate, but I don't want this video to be too long just because it's kind of an introductory thing. I just want to get something done and get it out there. So we'll set the arrival airport as Victoria, like we said. So I'll just type that in here. And it's this one here, Victoria International. So there we've input the destination and the location. So the cool thing about this is if you're just starting out with Flight Simulator, the game automatically programs all the waypoints, and if you select here IFR, high altitude airways, or low altitude, it will give you the instrument flight rule, so it's not just visual. But I'll talk more about that when we get the flight going. And we'll go with runway 9. I can show you the instrumental landing system there as well. Flight conditions, I think we'll start off with a nice sunny day. Maybe a little bit earlier, so it's brighter. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so what? I don't know why that did. Okay, well I'll fix it in the game. I'm really not sure what was going on there, but I selected daytime. It showed nighttime. I'm not sure. Yeah, so just the loading screen now. As I said, if there's anything that I'm mistaken about, or that I really just don't sound like I know what I'm talking about, do point it out, because I'd appreciate the chance to learn a little bit more about the simulator and join in online with a bit of the community. So
Vancouver Tower Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 at runway 26 left, ready for departure IFR to Victoria.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320.
Okay, so it's got us at the runway. I'm gonna switch the weather to daytime just so we can get a clearer idea of what's going on. Alright, 9:40 AM, there we go. Okay, so the tower have already done the clearance for takeoff, so we're good to go. You can just check the transcript of what air traffic control said by clicking this fella here. So you basically said to them that you filed your flight plan, they cleared you to taxi, and that's as far as we got here to clear to take off on the runway. So we can close that off because we have the permission to take off, and then we can disable the parking brake so the wheels can move. I'll quickly just check what altitude they said. They'll give you an altitude to climb to when you take off. Here it is, climb and maintain 7,000 feet. So you can auto populate that in the setting for the autopilot. Just so it gives you one less thing to do when the aircraft is airborne, because when there's a lot of stuff going on, it can get a little bit hard to keep track of everything. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll take off. I have the throttle here on the joystick. So the throttle is from the SciTech flight yoke. I think that's how you pronounce it, SciTech. And this is just the a Logitech joystick. It's pretty good, but I have the yoke as well, but I like the full Airbus experience, and I think it's roughly like this, but how it is in the Airbus. But anyway, I'll stop talking. So we'll put the engines up to halfway and just check the temperatures. I don't know if that's the thing, but and then we'll fully open the throttle, and the aircraft is starting to barrel down the runway. So we'll take off at about 140 knots, and you're getting kind of close, so we're there now, so we can pull back on this, and the aircraft is flying. And whoops, and we'll put the gear up there. So what I like to do now is just get the autopilot on the go, so you can program everything. So you hit the autopilot, the plane is automatically.
Airbus 320, contact Vancouver departure on 126.12. Good day.
That's just air traffic control handing us off to the next.
126.12 Airbus 320.
The next airspace. Okay, so yeah, the aircraft is climbing to the 7,000 that they told us to climb to. It's starting to turn to the course, and we have our speed and our auto throttle programmed. So when we're climbing, I like to keep the Airbus at about 230 knots or so. It's I think usually a safe bet, but kind of annoying that you have to scroll using the roller on the mouse to get up there, but kind of takes a while sometimes. So we'll put flaps up as well. Okay, and there we go. The takeoff is done. The aircraft is climbing to. Sorry if you have to push this button down. There we go. And then the aircraft is climbing, heading towards 7,000 feet, and it's programmed to 231 knots on the speedometer. I suppose it is. Yeah, so you can see it's already there. So it's got a little yellow thing there. Yeah, and I have the mouse set up to look at some different views, so you can pop outside that, and then there are all these other different types of views that, you know, there's one that I like to use. That one I think is pretty cool. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear passengers talking. There it is, cool there. The plane is turning another leg on the journey. I think you can do the other side as well. Yeah, there you go. It's the other side, so it's a pretty cool thing. But what I was hoping, maybe it'll come out down the line, is that when we're in the cockpit here, we could maybe have up in the top corner, you know, one of those views of the window, and then another one of the complete outside of the plane. It was possible to do in the Microsoft Flight Simulator from 20 years ago, so I find it really surprising that it's not something that was considered here, but then further down the line it probably will be. And as well, there's no instant replay. I mean, sure, half the fun of this is checking out a greaser of a landing, but nonetheless, hopefully that's something that's in the works as well. I think it is, actually, from what I saw on some of the forums online. Oh, we never switched to the other airspace.
Vancouver departure Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray 320, 7,000 feet.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray 320, Vancouver departure altimeter 29.9 continue as planned. Airbus 320 descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
So, seeing as this is such a short flight, I think it's only like 15 minutes in
Descend
real life.
and maintain 4,000
Wouldn't
feet,
even get
Airbus
to
320.
go above 10,000 feet, but or above 231 knots. So we've programmed in the 4,000 for the aircraft to descend down and it's not descending all that quick. Oh, okay, I think it's getting its bearings now. Oh, it slowed down descending because I changed something on the speed. Okay, yeah, so as it's doing that there, you can just see here that the altitude is decreasing. What I like to do here is this fella, the landing system, it just adds these little notches that I'll explain when they start to activate as we approach the runway at the airport. But basically what it's saying is this is the aircraft and this is the runway. So right now we'd be completely to the left of it, so we'll intercept it by traveling this direction, I think. Yeah, well, of course it would be. And then you'll see that start to move and it'll stop here, and that's when you know we're in line with the runway. And then this will activate as well with a similar diamond that will pin there when you are on the glide slope. So
Airbus
we'll keep the aircraft.
Contact Vancouver Center on 125.905. Good day.
Going to 125.905 Airbus A320. Vancouver Center Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray A320 is passing 4,700 feet, descending 4,000 feet.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray A320, Vancouver Center altimeter 29.902, continue as planned.
Okay, so that was
Airbus
just it.
A320, you are 16 miles north. Maintain present heading and altitude, expect ILS runway 09er approach via Branny transition. Cleared to Branny.
Okay, so they're telling us to approach the airport by the waypoint Branny. I'll just respond to him.
Maintain present heading and altitude.
And
Expect ILS runway
we'll go for
09er approach via Branny transition. Cleared to Branny Airbus A320.
Yeah, we'll get in line with the runway there, so it knows that we've begun the approach to the airport. Yeah, we can have a look outside again. I just think that's so cool, that one. I'd love to, I know I've said it already, but I'd love to see an instant replay of landing from that angle. I think it would be pretty awesome. Or the other side. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Switch through some others. Do that. Set the gears down, but we'll do that when we're on final, actually. So here you can see that the glide slope has actually started to activate, so we're getting pretty close to intercepting that kind of imaginary hill all the way down to the runway until you touch down. So I guess we can start slowing the aircraft down. So you can't put on any flaps until the aircraft is, I think on the A320, less than 220 knots of this indicated airspeed here. It'll actually show you a bar, I think, once you set the first flaps. Yeah, so now it's saying that you can't go beyond that. And it's right on the line. I better slow down a little bit further. Actually, that's kind of one of the annoying things when you're rolling with the mouse. It's also the zoom out when you're not doing changing things on the autopilot or anything else in the cockpit. Just it does that zoom out. Nothing really you can do about it. But if anyone knows a better way of doing that, I'm all ears, because yeah, I definitely like to know a quicker way of doing that. Okay, so the aircraft has slowed down a little bit more. It's slowed down to 200 knots. I'm going to bring it down at maybe another 5 or 10 knots, just so we can get the second set of flaps in. Again, I don't know if this is the correct point to be doing it, but probably not the most efficient way to do things, but it's what I can do with the knowledge I have, at least for the moment. As I said, please do leave a comment and like and subscribe, because I'd love to see this channel turn into something successful. I'm really looking forward to trying it. Yeah, and it's really enjoyable. So far, anyway. Okay, so the aircraft have slowed down again. So I'm just gonna check here. Okay, so it's gonna do a loop around here, and I'm guessing that when it does reach around there, the instrumental landing system will activate, and we'll be able to program the airplane to line up with the runway and to slide down, to descend down that imaginary hill until it touches down on the runway. Now I don't like to, I'm sure there's a way of doing it. There's an auto land, but that will bring the aircraft right to the ground. But seeing as this is a lovely sunny day and nice and clear, I don't think we'll have any problems seeing the runway. So I'll probably knock the autopilot off at maybe 2,000 feet and then hand fly in from there, just because that's a little bit more fun than just watching the computer do it. Yeah, so it's starting that kind of shallow turn. And, the airport is over there somewhere, I guess. And there. Awful close to those mountains. I trust the air traffic control will have considered that. Because I hadn't. I think we can get another amount of flaps here and slow the aircraft down a little bit more. We can do the landing checklist for the A320, which is, I don't know if this is the whole checklist, but going by one of the videos I watched, it's to set the auto brake. We'll put that on low because I think those are various intensities for their...
Jazz 8127, contact Vancouver, departure on 126.12. Good day.
So we'd set that, put the landing gear down. That's just the auto brake for the wheels on the runway, I think. Again, quote me or leave a comment if it's wrong. Here is how you, like, it was already armed, but here is how you arm the spoilers, so that once the aircraft touches down, they'll rise up on the wing and help it slow down on the runway a little bit faster.
8127 is passing 9,000 feet, climbing 10,000 feet.
There we are at 170 knots.
Vancouver, center altimeter 29.902, continue as planned.
I think I'm up to date on the air traffic control, but you can ask them if there's
Vancouver
any...
Center AirBus Alpha Sierra X-ray 320 requesting vector to next wind.
Yeah, he's asking where to go.
AirBus 320, continue to VIX's turning and following heading 130.
Continue to VIX's turning and following heading 130 Airbus 320.
Jazz 8127, contact Seattle Center on 125.1.
Oh, excuse me.
Good day.
So the air traffic controller told us to turn to heading 130, so which would be here. The airplane is going to do that automatically anyway and intercept the localizer and line up with the runway. And at that point, we'll connect with the tower at Victoria and get our permission to land at the Victoria Airport.
Vancouver Center Jazz 8127 is at 11,100 feet, descending 10,000 feet.
I believe that's real traffic, by the way.
Contact Seattle Center on 125.1. Good day.
I don't know if it feeds into the game.
127 Vancouver Center altimeter 29.902, continue as planned. 125.1 for FedEx 90.
As far as I remember, the airport's over here somewhere. I think maybe you go over the water as well. I can't really remember. I don't think I'd instill too much confidence in you if I was your pilot for real. I think it's over there. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's over there. Okay, so you can see that the diamond here has started to come towards the middle, so I'm going to switch on the approach mode of the aircraft, which is going to capture that and hold it in the middle. So that way we're already lined up with the runway. So you can see, maybe you'll be able to see it from here. Can't quite see it yet, I don't think, but yeah, it's off in the distance a little bit, but it's got the knowledge, or it's programmed to detect it from that far as well. As well, you see this diamond here, the glide slope. Seeing as we're flying level, we're going to intercept the glide slope like that, and that's when the aircraft will start to descend in accordance with the glide slope. So we'll slow down a little bit more and land the aircraft at about 140 knots, which is the speed we took off at. I just assumed that, you know, you land roughly the same way. And just putting on the last levels of flaps. So the flaps are full, the speed brake is armed, the parking brake is off,
AirBus A320 descend and maintain 2,300 feet.
And then the auto brake is on. So we're configured for landing.
2,300 feet Airbus A320.
Air traffic control just told us to descend, which the airplane is automatically going to do on the glide slope anyway. So there you'll see it'll start to descend, hopefully.
Going to 125.1 jet, speed 127.
And this little indicator is how fast the aircraft is descending. So it's recognized the glide slope and it's starting to descend. Yeah, so we're at 140 knots. Glide slope is active. The localizer is active, and we're descending as we need to. Look outside. It's a pretty cool one too.
Vancouver Center Air Canada 568 is passing 8,900 feet, climbing 10,000 feet.
This is Vancouver Island, by the way, in Canada. It's really cool.
Center on 132.9. Good day.
There's the
Air Canada 568 Vancouver Center altimeter 29.9 continuous planned.
I don't know, I just think that's so cool.
Going to 132.9 Delta 1233.
We'll hop back into the cockpit. So the aircraft is continuing to descend, and you'll see here that it's gotten in green that the glide slope is activated and the localizer is activated. It's just letting you know that
you are 10 miles west of Victoria. Contact tower on 119.11 inbound.
So we're getting close enough to be handed off by approach to the tower. So I'm just going to contact them.
Tower on 119.1 Airbus A320.
Oh no, I don't want that. This is a flight assistant. It's pretty
Tower
cool
Airbus
if you're just starting out, but I don't like to see it. Sometimes I use it for taxiing because I haven't figured out how to taxi properly yet.
Cleared ILS, runway 09 approach.
Okay, so shortly now I'm gonna disconnect the autopilot and bring her down. So I'll maybe give it to about 1,500 feet until I can see the runway a little bit better, and yeah, then I'll switch it off and we'll land the aircraft and complete the journey.
Airbus 320 wind 25, 2 and 3. Cleared to land runway 09er.
Okay, so that's the tower, just clearing us to land on runway 09er, which you can see. So I'm just going to respond.
Cleared to land runway 09er Airbus A320.
Yeah, actually, it does land over quite a big body of water. I think it's so cool. The graphics are amazing. Oh, how about that, huh? I like that. Okay, so what I like to do is set up the view about there, and now we're going to switch off the autopilot and we're going to hand fly the aircraft down onto what looks like an incredibly short runway. I'm going to, with that in mind, quickly just put on the auto brake to maximum, just so we can ensure that we don't roll off the end of that runway and into the sea on the other side. Okay, so you can see it's gonna a little bit off center on the localizer, but the glide slope's still pretty good. So what I like to do is just do my best with looking at the runway and descending, and then check and verify on the glide slope and the localizer that you're still in good shape. So now I've gone just a little bit too high, so I'll pitch the nose down a little bit, and the aircraft is now calling out the distances or the altitude, and it's just to save you from looking. Okay, and now we see we're back on the glide slope. Well, we were for a second. But yeah, so it's coming in now. So at about 50 we'll start to level off and flare the aircraft,
60, 50,
and then we'll
40,
pull back there.
20, retard, 5.
Retard is the aircraft saying to idle the throttle, so I've just reversed the engine there, and I want to take a look at there as well. Yeah, we had the spoilers armed, so that was all good.
AirBus A320 exit, runway
Okay.
when able.
And yeah, so I think it's cool to kind of watch them to go back down. Yeah, so they just told us to exit the runway, and that landing was wildly off center, so my apologies for any landing snobs out there who were offended by that. But we'll turn off here. Going
AirBus
quite fast.
320 exit, runway when able.
Yes, I'm going.
AirBus 320 contact ground on 121.9er.
Okay. I had a pretty hard time staying on the taxiway there, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, kind of a very basic tutorial on how to kind of have an enjoyable, not too
AirBus 320 acknowledge last transmission.
it's not too difficult, so that's pretty good. Alright, if you'd like to support the channel, please do like and subscribe, and as I said, anything I got wrong or anything you want to say, just leave it in the comments. I welcome everything, good and bad. Okay,
AirBus
catch you guys in the next video.
acknowledge last
Okay.
transmission.